Dear students, before go to the test question, let us understand the dihybrid cross. You know that dihybrid cross is a cross between two plants differing in two characters. So, Mendel crossed two pea plants, so one producing yellow and round seeds and other plant producing green and wrinkled seeds. Now, when you see here in the chart, so this is the phenotype of the parent plant, that is one plant producing round and yellow seeds and other plant producing wrinkled and green seeds, and this is the genotype, that is capital R, capital Y and small letters for the dominant character what we take, and these are the possible gametes from both the sides. And after fertilization, that is this is one gamete, this is another gamete, and we get F1 individual, that is all heterozygous condition, that is all the plants produce round and yellow seeds because it applies the law of dominance. So, presence of a dominant gene, the recessive gene do not express, and hence all the plants in F1 generation produce round and yellow seeds. Now, after selfing means a cross between individuals of the same generation or F1 generation. Now, when you take the selfing, these are the gametes possible on both the plants. So, when you take the Punnett square board, so Punnett square board is a graphical representation of any genetic cross to calculate the probability of genotypes in a genetic cross. For example, we take 4 gametes of one plant here, 4 gametes of another plant here, and when you cross these two, so in this case, so we will get the ratio of 9:3:3:1. So, the 9 indicate the plant producing round and yellow seeds, and 3 indicate round and green seeds, and the other 3 indicate yellow and wrinkled seeds, and then the last one is indicate the green and wrinkled seeds. So, based on this, let us take up another question. The question goes like this: the phenotypic ratio of F2 progeny in a dihybrid cross is option A 9:3:3:1:1, and option B 9:3:3:1, option C 9:1:3:3:1, and option D is 1:2, 2:4, 1:2, 1:2 and 1:1. Now, as I already told you, the F2 generation of any dihybrid cross by Mendelian principles consists of 9:3:3:1, and hence the correct option in this particular question is option B 9:3:3:1. Dear students, one of the methods Mendel used in his experiments is the test cross. So, test cross is a cross between the plant showing a dominant phenotype with the recessive parent. See, for example, if you take a plant showing a dominant phenotype, for example, these two genotypes, this plant is also tall, this plant is also tall due to the presence of a dominant gene. But we do not know whether the plant which is showing a dominant phenotype is a heterozygous condition or a homozygous condition. To identify the plant in question is heterozygous or a homozygous condition, the plant is crossed with a recessive parent, that is a dwarf plant, homozygous recessive. So, when this the cross is called as a test cross. So, test cross in other words is a cross between the plant showing a dominant phenotype with the recessive parent. So, Mendel conducted test cross to identify the genotype of an unknown plant. Based on this, let us see one question. A test cross is option A is used to investigate whether the dominant expression is homozygous or heterozygous, and option B involves mating of F1 hybrid with the homozygous recessive plant, and C both A and B, D none of this. As I already told you, the test cross involves the cross between the F1 individual with the recessive parent, and hence the statement A is correct, statement B is also correct, and hence the correct option is C, that is both A and B. Dear students, before take up the next question, let us understand one different type of monohybrid cross. Now, when you see the chart, that is a plant producing red color flower crossed with the white flower, this is the genotype and the gametes, and F1 generation in a heterozygous condition shows all pink color flowers. So, this is a type of cross called as an incomplete dominance. It is a deviation from Mendelian law, because Mendel did not observe any intermediate characters in his experiments. Even in case of capital T small t, the plant remained tall, or capital T also the plant remains tall. But in this case, the heterozygous condition shows intermediate character. That means the plant produces pink color flowers. If it is a Mendelian cross, the plant in heterozygous condition definitely would have produced the red color flowers. After selfing, that is a cross between individuals of F1 generation, in the F2 generation, in the F2 generation, one plant produce red color flowers, two plants produce pink color flowers, and one more plant produce the white flowers, and the ratio is 1:2:1. So, in this type of cross, both phenotypic and genotypic ratio remain same, that is 1:2:1. So, this is called as incomplete dominance. So, incomplete dominance wherein the dominant gene is incompletely dominant over the recessive gene, and the different type of plants like Mirabilis jalapa. In incomplete dominance, both phenotypic and genotypic ratio remain same, that is 1:2:1, and plants like Mirabilis jalapa, Antirrhinum shows this type of inheritance. Now, based on this, let us see one question. The question goes like this: a red flower plant of Mirabilis is crossed with white flowered plant of Mirabilis. All the capital R smaller offsprings are pink, that is in heterozygous condition. This is an indication that R gene is option A codominant, option B recessive, option C incompletely dominant, option D is linked. So, in this particular question, when you consider option A codominant, the blood group AB shows the codominant, wherein the offspring resemble both the parents. For example, if the one parent is A blood group, another parent is B blood group, and the offspring might have AB blood group, that is called codominance, wherein the offspring resemble both the parents. And option B is recessive. So, recessive gene is the one which do not express in the presence of a dominant gene. That is what Mendel observed in his experiment when he crossed a heterozygous tall plant like this. So, in this case, the plants became tall because there is a dominant gene wherein the recessive gene do not express in the presence of another gene. And option C is incompletely dominant. So, in case of incomplete dominance, the dominant gene is incompletely dominant over the recessive gene, and hence in heterozygous condition the plant will show intermediate character. And option D is linked, and these two are not linked genes. So, in this particular question, the correct option is the option C is incomplete dominant.
ಡಿಯರ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್, ನೀವು ದಿವಿಗೆ ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಚಾನಲ್ಗೆ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ಗೂ ಹೇಳಿ, ಇದೇ ಥರ ನೂರಾರು ವೀಡಿಯೋಸನ್ನು ಫ್ರೀಯಾಗಿ ನೋಡಿ.